We will be strategic, and we will be unified in our work in the next Congress, which begins at noon today. There is no question that Cedric LaVon, he told me to say L, but I'm going to say LaVon. Cedric LaVon Richmond, that's what his mama named him. Don't blame me. But there is no question that this brother, Cedric LaVon Richmond, Generation X, is well suited and well prepared to lead us in confronting these new challenges. Cedric, I'm proud of you. You know that. These baby boomers, most of these that I'm looking at, these baby boomers are proud of you, and we're ready to get to work. We know that you will take this caucus to a new level, to a different level of advocacy to protect our constituents from the harm that will be inflicted if we don't fight back. Cedric, this is your time. I look forward to working with you, and most importantly, I look forward to following your leadership as you lead 49 members of this great caucus, the largest caucus in our history. At this time, it is my pleasure, it is my honor, it is my joy to transfer the gavel That's what Marcia Fudge told me last year. I know the feeling, Marcia. It is my joy, in all seriousness, it is my honor to transfer the gavel of the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus for the 115th Congress to our friend, Cedric Richmond.
Thank you, GK, and our members are like a family, and our common bond is love. And like in a family, you know everything about everybody. But the one thing we know, and GK just exhibited it, is that, as he said, Cedric, no, this is my gavel, we're going to have to get you another one. that GK is tight. Let me first start off by thanking my family, who believed in me when I was 25 years old and said, I want to run for office. Fresh out of law school, spent all of my inheritance. Then I told my family, after I spent it, so that they had to buy in also. And my mother contributed dearly, and my brother was silly enough to share a joint bank account with me. So he contributed far more than he ever knew. And to my wife, Raquel, who allows me to get on a plane at the beginning of the week and come up here and fight for my constituents and for people in this country, while she raises the little one right there on her own, who has his headphones on because he doesn't want to hear what Dad has to say. So I would just ask my wife, my mother, my sister-in-law Stephanie, and my brother to please stand and be recognized. Let me thank my colleagues in the CBC who gave me this vote of confidence and this awesome responsibility for the next 2 years. And their love and their support and their guidance and their mentorship has meant the world to me over the last 6 years. And to Chairman Butterfield, thank you for your leadership. Someone once said that a politician thinks about the next election, and a statesman thinks about the next generation. What I want you to do is look at these 48 quintessential stateswomen and men who think about the next generation, but more importantly, do what is required of them, and that is to love mercy and to do justice. So please give these 48 members of the CBC a big round of applause. And thank you to Shanice and the CBCF for all the hard work that you do. And most times it's behind the scenes and not at a fancy event like this, but you all do it, you work tirelessly, and you get results. So thank you very much. We've assembled this morning to celebrate historic achievements and acknowledge the progress of the Congressional Black Caucus as an institution. We now stand 49 members strong, bipartisan, bicameral, with 2 of our members serving in the United States Senate. Just to be clear, that's 49 members from 49 different districts speaking with one voice. Our members are in leadership and head committees on every major issue debated in Congress. Our members are on the forefront of providing the moral clarity and intellectual strength to light America's path forward. Our members represent 78 million Americans, 24% of the population, and 17 million African Americans, representing 41% of the African American population in this country. And that population is spread out through different parts of the country: urban centers, suburban neighborhoods, and rural counties. We continue to celebrate the past 8 years of successful leadership with one of our own in the White House. There's much to celebrate, and that is due to the heroes and sheroes that came before us. Legendary people like John Lewis and Eleanor Holmes Norton, who remind us of the progress our country has made and our people have seen. Revolutionary leaders like Maxine Waters and Bobby Rush, who remind us of the many battles that we have waged and the many battles we have won. Social justice warriors like Jim Clyburn and Elijah Cummings, who show us every day the importance of fighting for what's right and fighting for what's just. Brilliant luminaries like Bobby Scott and Barbara Lee, who helped light this nation's path to a more prosperous and inclusive future. And our next generation of strong, courageous leaders like Yvette Clarke, Hakeem Jeffries, Andre Carson, Mark Vesey, and the list goes on, and you see the talent up here. However, we will miss a profound opportunity if we only gather to celebrate. We will not do the people we represent justice if we don't acknowledge the mood of people of color throughout this nation. There are many Americans, especially Black Americans, who can't understand how we got here today. Coming off of 8 years of hope, pride, and inspiration, they are fearful of the current state of division, hate, and pettiness. Many of our young people are frustrated with the fact that they seem to be fighting the same causes that Dr. King and Reverend Jackson and John Lewis and many others galvanized the country behind during the Civil Rights Movement. And that's jobs, justice, and common humanity. In 1853, Theodore Parker, the abolitionist, Unitarian minister, and quintessential thinker, told us, "I do not pretend to understand the moral universe. The arc is a long one, but from what I see, I am sure it bends towards justice." A century later, during the Civil Rights Movement, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., an admirer of Parker, quoted his lofty prophecy during marches and speeches, reminding us of this essential point that we still know holds true today. Often he'd ask in a refrain, "How long?" "Not long." He would finish in a flurry, "Not long because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice." Members of the CBC know this all too well. While others have thrown up their hands, hung their heads, paralyzed by frustration, the members of the CBC have remained focused and driven. They have remained the conscience of the Congress. Members like Shirley Chisholm, who during her historic term fought to combat hunger in our communities and worked to expand opportunities for women in the labor force and children in the classroom. Members like Charlie Rangel, who fought to maintain America's commitment to the least of these and move communities of color closer to economic freedom. Members like John Conyers, who has dedicated his life to helping people of color find the justice in the criminal justice system. Even though it doesn't look like it sometimes, including now, the arc is still bending. However, it does not bend on its own. It takes people of all ages and races with moral conviction and strength to make it bend. The 49 members of the CBC are committed to do our part, to provide the leadership, engage the people across this country, and fight shoulder to ensure that the arc continues to bend. We cannot do it alone. We need the fire, passion, and talent of young people to use the tools and resources of today to capture the nation and to give life to our movement. As we all know, it was young women and young men who were on the front lines of the fight for freedom in the 60s, and it is no different today. We need the wisdom and clarity and foresight of our elders so that we can stand on their shoulders, so that we can achieve much greater heights. If we do not learn from our past, our future will be more of the same. As I close, I want to tell you what you can expect from the CBC this Congress. We will confront those who seek to divide us. We will be clear about our demands on behalf of black people across this country. We will venture outside of Washington regularly to engage our people in the places that they live, in the places that they work, and in the places that they worship. We will heed the many lessons from our leaders who came before, but we will innovate and evolve to tackle the challenges of today. We will be deliberate in our thoughts and actions, and we will engage on our own terms. We have the strength and the courage of our ancestors who survived the Middle Passage, who survived slavery and segregation and Jim Crow. And in that spirit, we won't give in, we won't give up, and we won't fall back. We will continue to bend the arc towards justice. To be clear, in fact, to be crystal clear, we won't dance if we're not at a party. We're not going to laugh if nothing's funny. We're not going to scratch if nothing's itching, and we're never going to run because we're never scared and we never will be. May God bless you, may God keep you, and we look forward to the next 2 years.
Ladies and gentlemen,